Pop in, say hi. If you've never come into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And because we, right, sometimes talk on important subjects, but sometimes subjects that stir the pot, right? We kind of like to do that in baby steps too. But on Sunday nights, we try to keep it pretty light. Doesn't always work out that way, but I'm one of those people that trusts, right? If it comes across my path, if it if it's a conversation that, right, it comes up, right, it's something important. So I rely on my random thoughts all the time, especially when I'm in the middle of something and then something just catch it and I think, "Oh, why did that pop into my mind just this moment?" And I'll take a moment and then I'll just sometimes do a 360 altogether, right? Sometimes I'll stop. I'm sorry. I just made a cup of coffee. It says, "Oh, Cindy, you look like death rolled over." So I went and put some lipstick. I went and put some lipstick on, but I can't see the comments, you guys, because I've got all kinds of gooky, gooky from my whole day. Oh my goodness. I tell you, I worked so hard this weekend, and I don't mean to toot my own horn. It's only because I feel it. I feel just drained, and we're going into one of our busiest weeks of the year. Oh my goodness. And not like it wasn't busy already. But I think what it is the fact that I'm picking up extra hours. And because I schedule my life, so that I'm actually having a life, so that I'm actually still able to put a roof over my head, but, right, do a little bit for myself and to actually enjoy this world that I exist in because Cindy's not coming back. Right? This is one shot in this era, right? I'm just grateful that I got kind of pulled into the digital age. It was quite easy for me not to because, well, when the Nintendos and all those video games came out, I wasn't even interested in them. And my whole family, including my dad and my mom, everybody would spend hours fighting over the controllers of the Nintendo games, right? So I kind of have an idea when I hear stories and, right, parents complaining about their kids and when they come in and they make the wisecrack jokes about the kids in the video. And I make those jokes too and I don't even have kids. It's just that, right? I remember as a child looking at my family going, "Wow, they're kind of cuckoo over this." And I'm thinking, I'm going to go do something else, right? Yeah, so it's kind of interesting when you look back and you recognize how different we all are, right? The things that make us happy, the things that we can lose ourselves in. Maybe it was food for me, right? I would suspect it was. I know it was a very comforting thing for me to do when I was not so comfortable. It would always help to calm the system down. Hi, you guys. Andrew, Owen. Hi, you guys. How are you feeling? How are you feeling, Andrew? Did you get my message? I just sent a message just to check on you. But I hope you're right. I hope you're not overextending yourself by being here, Andrew. Right? Let me know how you're feeling. Yeah, I'd like to know. I'm just babbling away. It takes me a little bit sometimes when I come home from work to unwind. So you guys get to usually see a different aspect of myself where it's still in that fast kind of fluttery kind of state that I put myself when I'm at work because there's so many things to get done and if I'm not flying when I'm doing it, right? Then it's not going to get done and I disappoint myself and I'm sure the manager understands how hard we work, right? And I'm sure she watches on the camera. So I'm not concerned about that in any way, but I think for, I think in that pride in your work. I don't know. I'm sure you guys understand where I'm coming from, where you right, you just want to do a good job because it's part of your makeup. It kind of represents you, right? So I've always been that way, and being empathic and highly sensitive, right? It's my nature. It just doesn't calm my system. It calms everybody's system when Cindy's fixing things and going 100 miles an hour and running the show. It takes a load off a lot of people. It's not just one person benefiting. It's just not one person taking, right? Right. I'm there giving, I'm there offering, right? And it makes a difference. And it's a good way because it takes all kinds to make the world. And I work with all different kinds. And even though we're so different, right? That when we pull together, that we can do like a slamming job. We really can. Yeah. Oh, oh, good. You've been working, doing what, Andrew? What have you been working at? Hope not too much. I hope you're not like back to work. Mind you, I did in our conversation last week, right? You were saying something about there's going to be work stuff to deal with now, right? Hello, William. Thanks for the picture. William sent a recent picture of him. Yeah, it was a good picture. I don't know, right? You guys have been with me for years, and I have no idea what you guys look like, right? Yeah. I've gotten pictures from William and a couple of other people, but for the most part, it's in our conversations and in our interactions in these live shows that I've gotten to know you, right? I don't know how shocked I would be if I were to meet you in person, if I would recognize you. Wouldn't that be neat if we just met at a bus stop and we started in a conversation? If I would say, "Oh man, that sure sounds like my friend Andrew," and it actually is Andrew, right? Yeah. But that's great to hear that you're doing better. You're doing better, Andrew. Okay. Well, we all got to put the roof over our head, right? But I hope you're taking time for yourself. Now it's just not resting and doing a little bit of self-care for yourself and going back and being the responsible one and going to work, right? You just want to make sure now that you bring a little bit of smile to your life, Andrew, right? To lift you up from the down that you've just been, right? That you've just been in. You want to emotionally, not just physically and mentally get back to it, but emotionally, right? For me, it's usually, like I said, food. Oh my goodness. I was working very early just so I could have my own money, right? To go off and buy the food that I wasn't allowed to have in the household. My parents were very hyper vigilant, and then at times, right, not very hyper vigilant, maybe even borderline sabotageal in my in my in my weight gain, right? I don't think if there was that concern as a small child, I don't think it would have happened. It manifested because of the fear, because it is in our ancestry, right? I had two uncles on my mom's side over 500 pounds, And my grandmother on my dad's side was over 500 pounds. So it was on both sides. So they were very concerned with me. I remember, like, 12, 13 years old, how concerned they were and how they watched everything I put into my mouth. And, right, if I wanted it, I had to go buy it. And sure, okay, I'll go babysit, right? I'll go do some housekeeping. I'll go sell Kool-Aid, right? And I was good at it too, right? I managed. But that weight came on, right? It did come on, and I did get obese in that. But if you look at those pictures of myself when I am 10, 11, 12 years old, I thought I was obese back then. And if you look at those pictures, you go, right, she's not overweight, right? She's just a normal 12-year-old. But the hypervigilance, right, that my parents had occasionally, right, it all depended on the budget, what was going in the households. Diets were very expensive, but because my dad had to be on a special diet, it was easy just to kind of split it in two. So we usually did and those, now they call it keto, but I think in my generation, it's almost the exact same diet. We called it the Atkins diet. And that was the diet that, for the most part, me and my dad were on. My dad loved meat. He was a carnivore for sure. For sure. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know where that conversation came from. Some about taking care of our emotions. I think that it started with that, but I don't know where it trailed off to or why. Yeah. Yeah, so take care of yourself, Andrew. Do things slowly. Oh, I was going to say what I did for myself as kindnesses. It was, for the most part, it was food, but I'd also treat myself. My dad was big on the the adrenaline of doing fun, or having a surprise, or going out for dinner, or, right, there was that excitement and that movement in our energy, right? And it was important to him. If he wasn't out fishing, right, every Sunday we'd all pile into the car and we would go on an adventure, and he wouldn't tell us what we were doing until we were getting there, right? Sometimes we go to another province, sometimes we were going down to Reno or Vegas, sometimes we were going to the drive-in or the movies, right? It always ended with a nice dinner in one of my dad's favorite restaurants. He had a favorite restaurant. It was called Wong's, and it was in just one of the seediest parts of Vancouver. And we'd go there for big Chinese dinner. We'd have these big lazy Susans, and he had so much. It was wonderful. I absolutely loved it. But I loved my dad's adventures. I loved the way when it was so difficult that he could just lift the mood in a room, or do a kindness. He'd come home from work as a cab driver, because he worked as a cab off season from fishing, and he would come home on his lunch break from driving cab, or his dinner break, because he usually worked night shift, and he would be bringing home a case of pop. In those days, it was a case of bottled pop in a cardboard case, and he'd bring home comic books and, right, snacks and stuff. And he just loved that energy, that surprise, and that happiness that he gave to others. And a lot of those times when he was doing that, things were probably not going very well in his life, but it made him happy. It made him feel better, right? To do those things. I wish I had these things that I know now, right? And been able to have those conversations. I was 23 years old when my father passed away. He wasn't even supposed to be able to live long enough to have a family. Yet I lived to be 23 years old when he passed away. So there were quite a few years there that we could have had these kind of conversations. We had conversations, right? But I don't know, not the kind of conversations and right from any kind of understanding in any way, right? Maybe he had those conversations with me, but it just didn't imprint. But it would be pretty cool to sit there and have a conversation with my dad in this point in my life, right? Almost 20, no, I'm 20, I'm 20 years older than my oh no, I'm 15 years older than when my father passed away. So we've extended that age because in my family, right, almost everybody passed away in their 40s. If they lived to be in the 50s, it was a big deal in on both sides of my family. And yet all four of us girls, me and all three of my sisters, have at least hit our 50s now, and we're all still here. So that says something about our lineage going forward, that possibly we as a generation extended the lifespan. I'm going to be 63 years old this week, you guys. 63 years old. A couple more years, I'm going to be considered a senior citizen. It's so strange. I was editing a video, or was I editing, or was I? Well, I was watching the video that I edited over again. Hello, hello, Kathy. Wow. To afford what? What is the comparison? What does the Ford have that's comparable to the Jeep, Malvin? I'd be interested to know that. Yeah, I'm trying to think. He would be 97 years old. Wow. My grandpa lived to be 91 years old. He said he attributed it to drinking a 2 4 pack of beer every day and a can of stewed tomatoes. That's what he attributed living. When you said, well, what's your advice for living to be so old? That's what he said. That's what my grandpa said. Drinking a 2 4 beer every day and eating a can of stewed tomatoes. He loves stewed tomatoes. He would just open up a can and he would just pluck his fork in there and he'd just pop those things like they were just little gumdrops into his mouth. He really enjoyed them. Right? My grandpa was a really, really nice man until he was drunk. He was a very mean drunk. But when he was sober, he was really a nice guy. So maybe my grandpa started the extent. Like here we are taking credit when we're now in our 50s, when my grandpa made it to be 91. So maybe he started that ball rolling, right? And then those great aunt and uncles were just, I don't know, maybe something that didn't evolve to be able to extend, right? Because all families, they branch off, don't they? Even when your kids and your grandkids, like it all branches off. Yeah. Okay. Uh Melvin says a manufacturer is still building vehicles. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. You were being Melvin. You were being funny. Yeah. I really enjoyed driving the Jeep. I had the Jeep for 10 days, I think. And I really enjoyed driving it. There just wasn't enough legroom to make it a camping vehicle for me. I've been looking at online of what kind of vehicles that I could get for a pretty low budget, but something that might last me a couple of years at the very least while I'm getting a footing, and then possibly being able to get something a lot newer. But I want to get back on the road because my life is limited, especially being the explorer and the adventurer that I am. Like, right, I need a vehicle, and I've been without one for a very long time. And yes, it's baby steps in getting back on my feet. But I'm doing a little bit better. If I could create the holiday that I created, you guys, oh my goodness, I was looking, right? Like yesterday, I just said, okay, if you could just manage to get the footage for the next video downloaded, Cindy, that's the only thing you have to do today. And of course, procrastinating, getting other things done at the same time, but just not getting into it. And then finally, um, when was it? Yesterday, was it yesterday? Yesterday, oh no, today, because I didn't, and because I set goals when I go to work and stuff. I says, okay, Cindy, I want all the video ready to go for editing because I want to upload a video on Wednesday or Thursday, right? And because I got to pull in an extra shift, I don't have much time to get it done, right? So normally I would have just taken all day off on tomorrow and I would have just worked on that video, and then I would have fixed it up on Tuesday. I would have uploaded it on Wednesday, but I have to now, right, move that forward one day, and also understand that my sisters are going to probably want to do something for my birthday, and I guess that's all I really have to do. I don't really have to do much. I really don't. Right? A load of laundry, but even that, right? It could go another week if it truly had to. The only thing I have to take care of is the cat box and make sure she's fed, and right. I've got a cup of coffee, which I have a cup of coffee, and we're sending the fire truck some good cheer. Get to your destination, have it be a false alarm, everything's okay. You can turn around and go back to the station and have your barbecue. In the States, you guys, in the fire stations, do the fire station guys have barbecues at the fire station? Our fire stations here in Winnipeg, you always see when I walk by, I always see them out in there. Well, it's not a parking lot, but the place where, they're the big area where it's all concreted. So the fire trucks, when they pull out, they have a lot of space because they're so big. But you always see them out there with their barbecue, right? And they have to drop it if that alarm goes off. Like they just have to drop everything instantly, right? And take off for the call. But it's pretty amazing that they can have that camaraderie, number one, so they feel like they have their coworkers or their family because their shifts are very long, but also at the same time, be a part of the community because people are walking by and driving by and waving at them and stuff. So it's being seen, right, by the community that they're situated in. And also, I guess it would break up the 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 monotony, right, of waiting for the call. Now they can be prepared for when the call comes in, but not worry and stress and right, like what's coming, and that they can actually smile, right? They can smile and relax and have a few moments for themselves in a stressful job, that they know that they'll jump to it, right? When it happens or if it happens, right? I said some good cheer. They're going to turn around and go straight back to the station to their barbecue. I don't know if they're barbecuing tonight. It was a nice day out today, though. It was definitely a barbecue day. It was 20 Celsius, which I think is about 60 degrees in the States, if I'm correct? I'm just taking a wild guess. That it might be somewhere around 60, but yeah, it was 20 today. What a beautiful fall day it was. Yeah. And there's still leaves on the trees, right? One good windy day and they'll all be down, but in the moment they're still on the trees and they're all different colors and it's really quite lovely. We usually get our first snow on Halloween night. If it's not snow, it's the rain snow and it usually happens on Halloween night. So we'll see how far after Halloween winter actually starts to set in, because when it sets in, it's a week or two and that's it. We're in it until I would say mid-March. Mid-March, you might have a couple of days that might bring the snow quite down quite a bit, but it's still going to be cold, right? It's still going to be winter, but we're not going to worry about that. We got November to get through, right? Okay. Uh Owen's Owen, I don't recall you saying that your mom was 97 years old. I didn't recall you. Wow, Owen. That's absolutely amazing. Will she get a certificate? Will she get a certificate from the Prime Minister if she lives to be 100? I know that was what my grandpa was going for. At that time, I think the Prime Minister, the President, if you made it to 100. Maybe because of innovation, the presidents actually say, well, no, we're not going to do it to 100. Otherwise, I'll be sending birthday cards to every 100-year-old person every single day because everybody's going to make it to 100. We're getting there, you guys. Oh my goodness. We are getting there. Crazy. I'm so thirsty. Sorry. I've been watching a little bit when it comes to innovation in different aspects, different industries, different ideas, different cultures, but looking at the ideas to make the world a better place or to advance us or get us to Mars, right? Or like cleaning up the ocean, with that big, big net thing. And they're actually doing an amazing, amazing job, you guys. And they're cleaning up that big plastic island out in the middle of the ocean. They found a solution for that. I would say it's a partial solution because you still have to recycle or dispose of all of that material, right? And also some of these plastic islands have now become a little bit of a ecosystem for other animals and other sea life and stuff, right? Like the big 4-liter milk containers, when they sink to the bottom, they become little safe havens for the small fish because the big fish can't get at them, right? Can't get at them. So it's kind of like a little safe haven for those fish, right? But they get all entangled like that. And I've seen some of those ecosystems. They actually look like underwater jungles, right? Because they evolve pretty fast when the organics get to it, eh? Yeah. But yeah, they're cleaning up that big. But innovation is amazing, and I've been watching a lot of videos lately on different aspects, like I said, of things that are going on. And it is, you know, so interesting to see what they're doing in the medical field. I've even been watching the facelifts, you guys. I don't know if you guys no, but facelifts have become a compulsive rage with people. And this isn't in a gossipy way, right? This is just in a factual way of taking note that plastic surgery has become the norm, and it's become very inexpensive when you go to have it done in like Mexico and stuff. But in innovation, there are always the first people who take the first steps. And because facelifts and stuff, they've been around for a while, but because of innovations, new experiments, new medication, new healing processes, new procedures, right? That there's bound to be mistakes all the time, and we see these botched plastic surgery, where the actors don't even look like the actors we knew. Like, even as an older person, you look at them and you're going, who are you, right? And I do that every once in a while when I see a movie star or something like that, because plastic surgery is just an innovation. And when you look at the surgery and that they're having and everything, it looks really scary. Like, when you got like eight rows of staples all the way around your head and under your chin and stuff, and you look at that and you go, oh my goodness, do we hate ourselves that much? Right? And I understand everybody has the right to feel beautiful, but you are beautiful on the inside, and the outside you can't keep that way forever. You just can't. I saw one lady who was 77 years old, and she had a full facelift, and that must have cost her a fortune. But when you looked at her face, and like they showed parts of different healing process a week between and stuff. Wow, right? The way your face swells up, the scarring, the fading of the scars, the bandaging, the mummy look. I think I would be very frightened that I would get some kind of skin infection that might botch it up, because I've seen so many botched facelift operations that I couldn't do that. I couldn't, but to each their own. But I understand a little bit about these, because these are a lot of the topics that I'm studying, right? And the underdog, me, the fat kid with the pimples all over, right? Kind of rejected and dejected by herself, her family, and her peers at school and society in itself. And I'm just trying to think. Remind me where I was just going to go with that, cuz right? I was thinking about what I was saying about that, and I go, "Wow." Right? Things that sometimes that we really don't delve into and pay attention, but when you just spew it out like that, so without effort, without even thinking about it, right? It has to give you pause, pause to think about. We were talking about feeling good about ourselves, right? My facelift, I had the best facelift ever for under $1. You do not have to have surgery, right? You don't have to have surgery. It costs you $1. And you know what that facelift is? It's the ponytail, you guys. The dollar is the scrunchie. A ponytail will do the same thing as a facelift. I see what I look like without a ponytail. I'm a ponytail girl, right? I'm getting a really drastic hairdo, and I'm coloring my hair so I can transition to the grays. I'm 63 years old, so I want to transition, but I want to be cool. So I want a periwinkle hair color. You know what that color is? It's kind of a purpley pale blue color. I just love periwinkle. So I thought I would get periwinkle color hair because it's pretty close to a blue silver, right? And then I thought, right, for the personality, I would have the pink hair underneath, right? So that when it was in a ponytail, I would have a pink ponytail. Isn't that cool? And then I thought I would get something called a wolf cut. I've been thinking about it. I'm like Samson, you guys. I have not gone to the hairdresser, and I'm not lying, 20 years. I have not been to a hairdresser in 20 years. Right? I just let my hair grow out because I color my hair, right? Every 6 weeks. I've colored my hair every 6 weeks since I was 16 years old, right? That was my limiting beliefs. This is me being concerned about the way I look, make sure that I'm presentable to be around others. These things are coming out. But it's true, though, right? I went, oh my goodness. I had some amazing traits, right? I'd stick up for myself. I'd stick up for my friends. I'd stick up for my family, right? But I really was a very insecure, not wanting any kind of attention. But it was like the fat kid hiding behind the telephone pole. I couldn't I couldn't hide, right? I couldn't walk into a room and not be noticed or targeted. And it affects us sometimes. It really, really does. And these are things that I love to delve into, right? It makes things easier and better for me. Oh, I'm going to be better prepared. Anybody messes with me in the next life, you guys, try. Try. I'm not daring anybody to mess with me because I've seen, right? Yeah. Yeah. Right. It's not it was just an idea to say, I am prepared to take care of myself, to better prepare so I don't stumble in and make the same mistakes as I did, that maybe I'll recognize quicker. Maybe I'll stand up for myself more. Maybe I'll ask for help, not just for myself. Maybe have those conversations with that energy that I know is my father, right? And let them know, right? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. See? And I can't just sit here and have these thoughts as I'm sitting here doing this live show, because then I start trailing down off that line, and then I totally forget what we were talking about, right? Oh, good savings of money not going to the hairdresser. Oh, well, yay, yay. I thought you guys might think I'm a little bit weird or a little bit cheap, right? And I truly thought I was a little bit weird because I have this idea that I'm like Samson. It just seemed that every time I cut my hair, and I love pixies. I love little short haircuts. I think I look really good in little short haircuts, right? But it seemed every time I cut my hair in those little short haircuts, life would go right down the tubes for me, really, really bad, right? So I've been a little bit, because now I think of it, what you think about is realize, now I'm a little bit iffy about going to the hairdresser. But that's why I've given this hairdressing thing a little bit of thought, right? Because if I were to get a wolf cut, now what can I could do it on my phone. Give me 1 second. Let me grab my phone. I haven't even taken my phone out of my purse, right? Lots of times I don't even look at my phone, right? I'm, I love YouTube. Okay. I'll just do this. Wolf cut. This is a wolf cut. See, it's like a little shag haircut. See, it's still long. I think I would probably have shorter bangs than their bangs. They like the longer bangs, but I've always been a bang kind of girl. Um, yeah, I think it's a haircut that would work very well for me. Isn't it lovely? I can see that. See those two on the bottom? I really think those are nice cuts. So I thought maybe I would get a wolf cut specifically because bring it over here again. You could see I could still get my hair in a ponytail. It's still kind of long, right? So I have lots of hair. My hair, right? Is I mean I don't have a full head of hair because of the ponytails, right? And because I only brush my hair once a week. I don't brush my hair. I use a conditioner comb through my hair when I wash my hair and and so I have to be very careful because of the curly hair and because I've dyed it every 6 weeks since I was 16, it does fall out. So I have very long hair, but I would have to say maybe 50 strands of hair. Maybe a few strands of spaghetti's worth, right? Are really really long to my butt, right? Long. And I don't even cut those. I just wait for them to get tangled up in the comb and then I'll give them a good yank and they'll come out. But maybe with a fox cut, right? I'll be able to grow a full head of hair. But I thought if I went with the periwinkle, it would be an easier transition for me to go into the grays because even the pink color, I could let that fade out underneath and it would just be a blonder, lighter look underneath the periwinkle, which will also fade out a little bit and blend in with my gray hair. I don't know if I have gray hair. I don't think so. I still get dark roots, but maybe that gray is mixed. It has to be mixed up in my dark roots. But yeah, my roots come in pretty dark, right? I have a dark blonde hair naturally. I had white hair till I was about 12 years old. I had very right platinum white hair full of curls and yeah, as I got older, kind of went to a mousy, they call it dirty blonde, and I didn't like it. So I started dyeing my hair, 16 years old, and I've never had any problems. I have given myself the scalp itchies, but maybe only once or twice if you think how long I've been doing that, probably for well, 50 years I've been dyeing my hair, right? 50, no, 40 years, 45 years. 45 years I have been dyeing my hair every 6 weeks. And you know, I'm not advocating because it is chemicals and it's not good for the environment, but again, in our not feeling good about ourselves and in that programming we learn to right? Appreciate some greatness about ourselves, right? And I do appreciate the fact that I can go blonde and have long hair. I have long hair again, even though it's frizzy and thinning out a little bit. And I like my pink bangs. It's a conversation opener with my customers and people that I meet in public, right? It's also those pink bangs is to give somebody a minute to contemplate what they were thinking about bringing to my attention. If it was something unkind they were going to say to me, I'd like them to say, "Oh my goodness, let's take a moment and think about that before we shoot that at her," right? Because those pink bangs, she's got some personality. And because I am that self protective person, and because I also will jump out or jump in on other people's behalfs if I feel that somebody is being not treated well or mistreated, right? I will speak up. And it's got me in a little trouble, right? But I don't do it as often as I used to. Well, and then when I said that, I was thinking about the shoplifters because I deal with shoplifters every single day. I would love to give them free clothes and take care of them that way, their sleeping bags and their winter coats. We used to do that for them, but they attacked, right? And not they as a whole, but that's a community in itself, right? And they take care of business on their own that way, and yeah, they took it upon themselves to right target the one of the people that worked in our store, and right, and yeah, understandably, right, we can't help them out because they have to learn that lesson, right? You don't bite the hand that feeds you, right? You just don't feed if you're going to do that. Be appreciative, right? Be kind and considerate. And yeah, and in the end, lots of people, right, lost out because of that. We're going to go into winter now, 40 below zero. We won't be giving out sleeping bags this year, right? And it's a lesson, and not my lesson, but a lesson that I'm going to abide to, because one thing I've noticed about these people who would come in and ask to be dressed, or to be given a coat or a sleeping bag, and we would take care of them that way. But when we said no, right, because we had to, because that was the lesson that we were directed, the reaction in that, the unkindness, and the lack of recognizing all the other kindnesses that we have done along the way, not just with the clothes and the sleeping bags, but just having that respect of letting somebody come in and do a little bit of shopping, right? And not to make a big deal when they come up to the till and say, "Can I have this pair of pants?" or "Can I have this top?" And now they come up and do it and they're embarrassed, right? Because we're saying no. And there's that retaliatory, is that what you call it, when they right, that they're not nice. And so I deal with a lot at work of the shoplifters and the homeless specifically, and they're working in teams, and it's an uncomfortable sometimes place to work because you don't know where that person is, or even who that person is, or where that moment's going to come from, right? It could come from just hello, or "I'm sorry, can I take your backpack? We don't let backpacks in the store." You don't know. You have to fly by the seat of your pants. And I do a lot of it, and it's uncomfortable sometimes because, like I said, I would love to help them out, right? Okay. Uh I'm sorry. I just I just read Andrew's comment to Williams to request to know what we were what we were talking about. Andrew says, "William, we've gone from William, we've gone from." Sorry. Okay, let's try this again. "William, we've gone from plastic surgery to hair to hairstyles." Isn't that so Cindy? Isn't that so me, you guys? Oh my goodness, that was funny. That I needed that laugh, Andrew. That was so funny. Let me get the tears out of my eyes. That was super funny. and and something to reflect on for sure. But that's right. That's the fun of it. That's the fun of it. Okay. And then Andrew says, when I had hair to my shoulders, I was surprised to learn it curled after a certain length. Yeah, I get the ringlets too, but even when I have short hair, it's like afro is what it's like. When it's really short, it's like a really tight afro pin curls. I have very, very, very curly hair. I have to iron my bangs straight when I go to work. So these are pretty much, they're starting to curl again a little bit, but you can still see I straighten them. And then I just tie my hair up right with a scrunchie and yeah, I've lost. I don't want to talk about hair. uh, yeah. Oh, I was going to say, but having long hair, the curls, they get weighted down. And for me, with the hair coloring, and it loses its elasticity, that the ringlets don't quite look like ringlets. They look like little frizz spirals. But I can, right? Like I said to everybody, I can put some mousse or hair gel in it, and right, put a little bit of Moroccan oil in there, and the curls will just pop right out into ringlets. Yeah, I got very curly hair, very curly hair too. Um, Kathy says, Andrew, was that lately? Uh, Andrew, quite a few years ago. Yeah, I learned when I hear about Andrew, he just seems like somebody I would have loved to have known to hang out, him on the acting stage. Like I just in our conversations, I try to imagine that. Like I said, I don't know what you guys look like, so sometimes I use my imagination because I understand your hearts and our conversations and stuff, that I have kind of a visual idea of what you look like. But I bet you, like I said, if I sat beside you on at a bus stop and we just talked for 2 minutes, would I recognize you? Right? Would I recognize you? Yeah, it would be different because yeah, Andrew has is a unique. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I couldn't if he said actor, right? Stage actor to me, I would be like, Andrew? What? Andrew? Right? And I love to be dazzled and amazed, right? In not being proven wrong, right? With me, it was just an idea of what Andrew was all about. And then to be hitting the side of the head with the fact that maybe an actor. And then him right now say, well, when I had hair down to my butt, and you go, oh my goodness, he was a hippie too, right? That's our Andrew, right? And because he works in the university, I'm looking in my imagination that he's at the computer and in his books, and we're sending some good cheer again to the fire truck. They're heading out on their whatever call that they're doing, that it is a false alarm, and they're going back to their half-eaten plates of steaks from the barbecue that they were having in the parking lot. Yeah, I'm only saying that because we had two fire calls in the past. Oh, I guess not even a half an hour, eh? Yeah, that was funny, Andrew. But you're so true. I just love going down branches. You know, I don't do it intentionally. It just happens. It just happens that way. It's just part of my flow, and it's part of the different parts of me mixing and wanting to have a say too. Maybe that maybe there's that respect to just stop after you've had the floor for 3 minutes, and then another part of me gets to take the floor for another few minutes. And I don't know what it is, but I recognize in your joke, Andrew, that it is so true. It's the ADHD, how I get distracted and start going down those side branches, and we end up in different topics, right? Or down those side branches so far that I forgot what we were even talking about. Yeah, that was funny. That was super funny. Okay. Andrew says he hasn't had a good picture taken in 10 years. Owen says, I have long blonde hair. Started out with jet black hair. Later, it went lighter. Oh, isn't that interesting? And your hair is long, Owen? You can get your hair into a ponytail? Can you get your hair into a ponytail, Owen? Do you wear ponytails, Owen? I know a few people. Well, I come from the grunge era too, in the 1980s and the 1990s. I was working in bars and nightclubs, and I was working at the officers mess and the junior ranks on base too. So, and I loved waitressing and bartending. But in the grunge era, which was is that era 80s and 90s, the guys all had ponytails, right? All of the guys. There wasn't, unless you were in the army. Yeah, the guys had long hair too. There was no difference between men and women. I think as many men enjoyed long hair as the women did, in all honesty, right? Or maybe it was just my friend group, right? I hung out with the rockers. I hung out with the the well, I didn't like heavy metal, you guys. I right into all honesty, I didn't like White Snake and Metallica and who were these other bands? I went to these concerts too. I went to these concerts. I didn't like the music. I liked the guys who liked music. I liked the guys who liked that music. They just seemed to be bring it on kind of guys. Guys who like to have adventure, right? Who weren't afraid to make big moves, who loved to have a good time, and had a rougher face than actually they had in a heart. And so I really liked hang and they were cute. The guys, right? They were right, they were pretty cute too. And I liked these guys who liked the heavy metal. But like I said, I can't sing any of their music. I doubt if I could even jump in on a chorus in any of them, and yet I was thrashing it out just as much as any of them were, right? Just hoping to catch somebody's attention, right? Yeah, that heavy metal. It's funny looking back at our younger years, and those were in all honesty, some of the best years of my entire life. They truly were. We had a lot of fun. I've had a great life, you guys. I have a great life. I've had lots of adventures. I've had lots of amazing friendships, like heart friendships, right? People who just had my back, and it made it so I didn't have to have a lot of people around me. And I had a lot of people around all my jobs. I was just with people all the time. But on my days off, those were mine, and I chose who I was going to be around. But that's only 2 days a week. Now I get 4 days. 4 days? Oh, I get 3 days. I get 3 days. I get 4 days if there's a stat day. I get 4 days. But for the most part, right, I have three days, and I use that time, right, in the brand, taking in the lessons, right, in preparation for we'll see. A big dose of we'll see, right? Okay, coming into these comments, you guys. Holy moly, not even a show and tell, and we're still keeping up in the conversation. I mean, we're just flying with it. Okay. Yeah, but Owen, blonde hair? Wow. I didn't imagine that. I was thinking short, dark hair. Seems to me you had an outdoor video, Owen, that I watched. It was years ago that I saw the video, and you had a dog with you, and you were going for a walk on, I think it was your property even that you were going for a walk on, and you were doing a video, and I thought you had short, for some reason it stuck with me that you had short dark hair. I could be wrong. Maybe it was just a moment in your life, or maybe I'm thinking of somebody totally different. I don't know. Um, oh, that wouldn't that be cool? Oh, I would love. I know I'm probably going to be freaked out because you're probably going to look totally different than what's in my imagination. Yeah, I can't imagine what I couldn't even, right? Because you blow me away every time you give us a little bit of tidbit of your personality, Andrew. I do a little bit of shift in what I think you look like, what I think, right? But that's the dazzle and the maze. That's the are you kidding me? Right? uh Do you have a character face, Andrew, for acting? I know lots of actors. Well, I don't know lots of actors, but I've seen lots of actors online, and they talk about having character faces, and they relied on the character faces while they were learning to be good actors, right? Because of the looks that they had and the mannerisms that they had that it suited well in different movies. Right? That's why some people just got stuck in bad guy roles, right? There's lots of great actors who wouldn't do anything except bad guy roles. And that's because they had great character, right? Great character faces. Or those actors who could do all different genres, like Jim Carrey, who could do comedy, and he could do drama, right? Did he do action? Did Jim Carrey do action? Well, I guess right. Oh my goodness, The Grinch. Didn't he do a good job in The Grinch? And now that movie, The Grinch, will be a Jim Carrey movie for however long we watch movies for. I suspect we'll be watching movies for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. Maybe digital age will take us somewhere else, but we love the nostalgia of movies, don't we? People come into my store all the time, and they still ask for the beta machines and the VHS machines and those little TVs with the VHS. They love those. We sell more VHS videotapes than we do DVDs. They love the old VHS. Somebody said there was something about it that they never get destroyed, right? I've destroyed many VHS. I used to work in a video store, and at that time, was it CDs? Had CDs come out yet? I'm trying to think. I think it was all VHS that time. So we're going way back to Blockbuster time, like even before Blockbuster. I worked in and managed a little video store. I really enjoyed that job. It was a good job for me, and it came at a good time when I was going through that process of learning to lose all that weight. And because I lived a good distance away from home, I walked home every day. That weight came off fast, right? It was a good job. I really liked that. I liked almost all my jobs. There have been some really terrible stinker jobs, right? But I fell in with the wrong people. And it's not like they were bad people, but my energy bothered them lots. And, right, they didn't want that around. And I didn't have much choice in that. And sometimes being uncomfortable in the job that you have is sometimes necessary. I still had to put a roof over my head, right? I still had bills to pay. So I did stay in jobs much longer than I should have. Even this job that I have right now, you guys, right? I do believe I should not be there. I love that job. It gives me a place to practice my craft and to give back and to shine on others. And I get out of that too. I thrive on how amazing you are, or the great Google reviews I got, so many Google reviews that say, especially that lady with the pink hair, right? So I know they're talking about me even if they don't know my name, right? So it gives me a little bit of warmth and happiness to have a job that gives that to me. But I still know that, right, that I'm moving in a different direction. I think a more entrepreneurial kind of direction. I think where I can actually serve better. But I think serving better, right? My brand, right? In showing up here on YouTube and sharing whatever is going on in my life and be a true vlogger in that. People vlog about lots of different things. Why can't I vlog about the inside and the outside? My life is going to be in a constant state of change. And, I started off exploring abandoned farms and abandoned houses going back to the 1800s. Now I'm doing mindset and thought leadership, and my back road adventures have gotten more magnificent. Not as much, right? But again, that's the bag or the stick with the bag at the end. Because again, I have to get myself to a level where that 2 week holiday that I just came off of and having a little bit of a difficult time getting back on that horse. I'm managing, but I'm not managing prettily. Really dragging my butt in that, but I'm getting it done, you guys. This video that I'm putting together, I'm editing in the next couple of days. Uh, is a park right before I'm going into digging crystals and rocks and stuff. So I'm really excited about the videos after that. I have, well, I'm just going to leave that and we'll just surprise you with that and let me know what you guys think of it. And your kind words, like you guys, you're so kind when you come in and you give me those nice comments because you know, sometimes you made me feel good about that, when you say these kind things about me and you let me know you enjoy watching my adventures and my holiday and stuff. You give me a really nice feeling about that. And it's beautiful. But that comment is there in the video, right? And sometimes it's not the interaction that me and you have, but everybody else who witnesses that kindness, right? And so when people come into the video and they read those really nice comments that you guys leave for me, right? That's service. That's service like you wouldn't believe. That's a service that just pays dividends forever because YouTube is going to be forever, right? I'm trying to let Google and YouTube truly get to know me. I believe in innovation, but I would like to think because we are such disguisable people, like we dress ourselves up as something that maybe we're not, or we dress ourselves up in something that we think we are, right? Because we don't really know who we are, so we invent and reinvent, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But right, my hopes is that the digital age will be able to, I call this untangling the wires, working in emotions and stuff. But innovation and technology is only going to advance like crazy. And even though they don't have the technology now, possibly somewheres down the road, they'll be able to pluck me out, Cindy, and they'll be able to recognize those other parts of me, maybe even communicate, right, with those other parts of me. And what a learning curve would that be? 100% in those possibilities, right? I'm creative in the way I think sometimes. This is the way I think. Yeah, heavy metal. It was never my thing, Andrew. Oh, Owen has a ponytail. I like ponytails on guys. I like handlebar mustaches too. I don't mind a little bit of a goatee, and sideburns are pretty cool. Yeah. If you meet that description, send me an email. Okay. Okay, but lots, right? What was that guy of 1,000 faces? What was it? Something Channing. What was his name? Right? He was a character. He was a character actor, and he was a very Lon Channing. Oh, I'm trying to remember what his name was. But he was a big movie star, and he was a character actor. Used to use a CD as a reflector on his bike. What did I use as reflectors? I used straws, but I don't think I used straws as reflectors. What did I use as reflectors on my bike? I don't remember, right? I loved bike riding, right? I still love bike riding. Yeah. And I hope when I'm 80 years old, 90 years old, that I still love bike riding. Lon Chaney. Oh, Lon Chaney Sr. So who was Lon Chaney Jr.? Was he an actor too, Andrew? Because you said senior. So if there's a senior, there would obviously been a junior too. Was he a famous actor? I'm kind of curious now. Or if they looked like, because maybe I watched all their movies, but I thought they were the same person because he was a man of 1,000 faces, wasn't he? Yeah, interesting. Yeah, Lon Chaney. So lots of famous characters, and there was a guy too. He did. Remember the mask was Cher, with the teenage son who had a disfigurement, and he was a biker in that movie. He did a couple of Western movies where he was bikers again or bad guys again, usually played Mexican. I think he recently passed away. He had a big mustache too, but I think he passed away. He was a very famous character actor too, but then again, he got stereotyped, right, to just doing one type of film all the time. Lon Chaney Jr. was also an actor. but may not on the same scale as his father. The son played the Wolfman in one or two movies. Okay, so more like in the 50s and stuff, because those Wolfman. So yeah, Lon Chaney was long before that, wasn't he? Right? Yeah, he was in the old movies. Yeah. So okay. So I did get them mixed up a little bit because yeah, I gave the Wolfman characters to Lon Chaney Sr. So they must have looked pretty alike. They must have had similar looks about them. Mm. I have an extra shift I'm picking up this week. My paychecks will be much better, right? With those extra hours there. So I'll be able to get on top of things maybe a little bit. I still haven't gotten my nice paper because I want to do a deck of cards for myself with my 54 powerful words, but it has to be really, really good, like quality, thick, easily shuffleable so that we can randomly pick a word to work on, right? So I want to make sure that I go to Staples. I think Staples will have the paper that I'm looking for. So we'll check that out. But I've also been looking at manufacturing for the cards, and it's depending on the quantity of decks that I want to have where the price will come down. I think I want to keep them at about $20, $25 a deck. And it looks like I can do them at a hundred decks for almost $13 US. So that's pretty close to $20. So I would only make $5 a deck. So it's not really an entrepreneur. Let's make a living. I have to sell a lot of those decks to do that. Or I could order a higher amount and get those decks for $3 and something American. So say $5, right? Canadian, and be able to sell those decks for $25. That would be feasible, better idea. And I think in the end, right, even if I only sold half of those 500 decks, that 250 decks sold at $25 is still pretty decent. And it's still the experience of putting my foot in the waters of entrepreneurship in a serious way, right? I did the Kool-Aid stands, right? I did the housekeeping, did the nanny and the babysitting, right? And working in social media, right? Taking in the lessons. It is in that expectation that somewheres down the road that it might be able to serve a lot better in my life, but it has to be able to serve what it's supposed to serve, right? So grateful for this job that puts a roof over my head, even though I'm getting more hours than I would truly like to have. But I'm taking them and being grateful for them because I'll be able to get on top of things a little bit faster and a little bit easier because I do have some things that I have to accomplish. Right, my PC needs to be replaced now. I have a good laptop, but I don't like these little small monitors. I want a big. I want monitor and the laptop, it's good. It's a great laptop. I designed it. It's got the specs that I want and not what I need in video editing, even though I don't utilize all those tools in that. It's a learning process. I will learn them. I learned a few things every single video that I edit. I learn a few things that I didn't know when I was editing the video before. So I'm getting a lot better and a lot more comfortable in using these programs, but I still don't like editing. But I will get that video up, you guys. But what was I saying about that? I was watching my video from when I went to Lake Superior and I got totally lost. I'm just going through footage, right? I got totally lost in that 24 hours of Lake Superior. And so I think that one might be a good one, right? And also, my last park on my trip was really, really nice too. So there that one looked really interesting. So I've been losing myself in the footage that I'm supposed to be editing. And when I started this conversation, I was going to say, I got halfway done. I still have about half the videos to download. And then I have to convert them all to a editable program and then get to work. And once I'm in the work, I'm looking at maybe 6 or 7 hours if I'm going to take a wild guess, and that's with lots of procrastination. And then maybe another couple hours while I'm editing and doing the descriptions and cards and all that. That right, that'll take a little bit of time. That'll take a little bit of time too. So I'm aiming for Wednesday night because I'm hoping to stay home Wednesday, and if I haven't got the video edited, right, I'm going to do it Wednesday and then upload it Wednesday evening. If not, I'll keep hacking away at it all Wednesday and Wednesday evening, and then right upload it on Thursday morning. But I would prefer to do it Wednesday. It's the challenge. It's the little challenge that's going to make me feel a little bit better, a little bit happier because I kicked that in the butt 100%. Okay, you guys, let's wrap her up here. Next Sunday, we got a show and tell. I got a few interesting things in the show and tell already. I have a list in my mind of things that I'm looking for at work this year. I want a new air conditioner because you guys know I'm not happy with the air conditioner that I have. So I suspect that in the next couple of months, these kind of air conditioners will start coming into the store because people don't want them kicking around their house. They're big, right? So, yeah, I'll get a good price on a new refurbished upright air conditioner, something that works a little bit better than this. I have dental to do, you guys. I want to invest $1,000. I don't want to invest $1,000, but I think that's what I'm going to have to invest is $1,000 on my teeth and get a little bit of dental done. So that's on the list. Then the PC, right? I need the PC because Windows 10 is being taken out, right? I can upgrade to a Windows 11, but I would like maybe a different computer, something fresh and fully charged and ready to take on the day. It's not like I'm going to be using it for anything. That will be my scroll, right? This is for when I'm watching and taking in lessons. Um, it won't be for editing videos. That's what I have my laptop for. It has all the quad and all the RAM, everything I need to be able to get the job done. So I just want a good, what do you call that, browsing capacity that I'm able to just roaming capacity. Is that what it is? Just so I could just float around and watch videos and take in lessons and, right, research a little bit. Nothing that takes big packages when it comes to storage. My eyes are starting to close, you guys. I really feel the weekend, and we're going into dollar days. It's one more week. It's going to be hard, but I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Right? Be nice if somebody said, good job, but there are no expectations that that's going to happen. So I say good job to myself because I know the effort that was put in to make sure that that store was in a really nice shape to, right, start everybody's work week off if they have Monday to Friday off to a good start. You guys have a good night. See you next Sunday. It will be show and tell. Hope you like my items that I picked. I don't think I'm putting too much more into the bucket because it's getting pretty full already. But if my dresser with the beautiful sliding drawers comes in, right, I've got extra hours. I'm going to buy the dresser, right? I need the dresser. There are a few things on my list, right? And just wait for them to come in, not to be so desperate for them, just to be comfortable knowing that they're coming. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer. Have a great night.